Heat. Welcome to this explainer. Get ready, because today we're mapping out the staggering evolution of the greatest sports tournament on Earth, the 1934 versus 2026 World Cups. I mean, think about it. In 1934, Italy hosted and won their first title in a tournament that literally felt like a completely different world. Now, fast forward to 2026, and massive global expansion has turned a home field advantage into a brutal mathematical marathon. So just imagine a rapid visual swap in your mind right now. We're going from vintage 1930s propaganda posters and heavy leather balls straight into the ultra-modern, high-tech stadium renders of tomorrow. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. On one hand, you've got 1934, an era entirely about proving national strength. And on the other, 2026, designed from the ground up as an all-encompassing global spectacle. Back in the intimate, raw days of the 1930s, the tournament was deeply personal. It relied on sheer physical dominance and, honestly, the intense intimidation of a home crowd. Today, though, that format has morphed into a massive, high-tech behemoth that has fundamentally changed what it means to host, play, and ultimately win.
Part 1. Building the Roman Dynasty. Let's look at this historical anomaly.
99. Over the nearly 99-year lifespan of this global tournament, this number really stands out as a powerful marker of history. Back in that era, Italy actually became the very first European nation to win the title. And you know what's truly astounding? They achieved this monumental milestone on their very first attempt. No, really. Just imagine stepping onto the global stage for the very first time, with the eyes of the world and the immense pressure of your home nation watching your every move, and immediately claiming the absolute highest honor.
And the final score tells a story of absolute grit. 1934, Italy 2, Czechoslovakia 1. And yeah, that was decided after a truly grueling extra time. See, this victory wasn't born out of modern tactical micro-adjustments or complex substitution strategies. No way. It was built on raw power, sheer physical endurance, and the totally suffocating pressure of playing on home soil. They simply outlasted their opponents in what was a true, brutal physical battle.
Consider the actual foundation of this dynasty. What's really interesting here is how it all came together. We already know they won on their first attempt, right? But get this. There was absolutely no formal qualification process like we have today. Teams were essentially just invited to participate. Yet, operating in this super informal structure, Italy became back-to-back champions, winning again in 1938. They established a true, undeniable dynasty without any of the complex, rigorous qualification structures that we just consider standard today.
Let's move to part 2 and see how this builds. Welcome to the 2026 Mathematical Marathon.
This massive shift is incredibly clear when you look at the mechanics. Just look at the qualification process. We go from literally no formal process in 1934 straight to AI-assisted scouting in 2026. The scale shifts from this intimate home pressure to a massive field of 48 hand-picked teams. And the ultimate goal? It's gone from proving national strength to, honestly, simply surviving the spectacle. We've totally traded analog intuition for cold, hard data.
104. Let the sheer weight of that number sink in for a second. 104 total matches will be played across the tournament in 2026. This completely transforms the event from a physical battle of wills into a brutal mathematical marathon. You aren't just managing player fatigue over a few weeks anymore. You are managing a massive logistical and statistical gauntlet. Literally every single touch, pass, and injury is calculated now.
Which brings us to part 3. Can hosts still win? Is that ultimate feat from 1934 even repeatable in today's modern behemoths?
For 2026, the hosts are the USA, Mexico, and Canada. And you better believe these three nations are absolutely desperate to replicate Italy's legendary home soil victory from the 1930s. I mean, winning as a host remains one of the absolute rarest and most difficult feats in the sport's entire history. And they're attempting to pull this off while sharing the geographic burden across an entire continent. They're dealing with vastly different climates, crazy travel times, and immense home pressures all at once.
And this brilliantly illustrates how winning at home has completely evolved. Back in 1934, it was all about conquering the home pressure, raw physical strength, and a screaming crowd. By 2026, it's all about navigating the unknowns. It's about surviving a massive gauntlet filled with logistical challenges, navigating a complex web of data points, and playing statistical probabilities perfectly. The rules of survival have literally been completely rewritten.
So I leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder. If you somehow bypassed modern AI scouting and dropped an invited team straight into a 104-match mathematical marathon today, Could the raw power of a home soil advantage ever be enough to conquer the modern, global spectacle? Think about how much the parameters of victory have shifted since those early days. It's wild. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the numbers behind the game.